Hi everyone, and welcome to the Mathematecher channel again. A mathematical proof is a logical reasoning carried out through a set of steps, which allows us to affirm or to deny the truthfulness of a mathematical expression, which is called a proposition. In this video, we're going to have an overview on the 6 types of demonstrations that are often used to prove mathematical propositions. So we have the first type of demonstration, which is the direct proof, that is also known as the deductive reasoning. And the principle on which this kind of demonstration relies is that if you have 3 propositions that we can note as P, Q, and R, such that the proposition P implies the proposition Q, and the proposition Q implies the proposition R, then we can deduce that the proposition P implies the proposition R. And in terms of logical syntax, this can be written as the conjunction between the 2 implications P implies Q and Q implies R, which implies that P implies R. We will now see an example of application of this kind of proof. So for a typical everyday life example, if the proposition P states that it's raining, and the proposition Q states that the roads are wet, and the proposition R states that the roads are slippery, then if we have the first statement that if it's raining then the roads are wet, and the second statement that if the roads are wet then the roads are slippery, we can assume that if it's raining then the roads are slippery. And here we have the conjunction between the 2 implications, P implies Q, and Q implies R, which implies that P implies R. Another example is that if the proposition P states that the number n is divisible by 6, and the proposition Q states that the number n is divisible by 3, and the proposition R states that the number n is not a prime number, then we would have the first implication, which is if the number n is divisible by 6, then the number n is divisible by 3, and the second implication, which is if the number n is divisible by 3, then the number n is not a prime number, which allows us to assume directly that if the number n is divisible by 6, then the number n is not a prime number. And once again, we have deduced the implication P implies R from a conjunction of the 2 implications, P implies Q and Q implies R. Now we will move on to the second type of mathematical demonstration. So this kind of demonstration is known as the proof by counterexample. And the principle on which it relies is that to prove that a proposition that contains a variable x that we note as px is not true for all possible values of x, we have to find at least one value that we can note as a, for which the logical complement of the proposition px that we note as not p of a is true. And the logical syntax of this principle states that px is not true for all values of x that belongs to a set E if and only if there is an element, a of the set E, for which not p of a is true. And for example, if we have a proposition px which states that whatever the value of the real number x, the square of x is strictly greater than x, then we can refute it by stating that there is an element, a, of the set of the real number r, which is 1/2 such that not p of a, which states that the square of 1/2 is strictly lesser than 1/2, as the square of 1/2 is equal to 1/4. So here we have proved that the proposition px, which states that the square of every real number x is strictly greater than x, is false. We will now move on to the next type of demonstration, which is the third one. So this kind of proof is one of the most used in mathematics, and it is known as the proof by contradiction. So the principle on which it relies is that to prove that a proposition P is true, we consider its opposite statement that we note as not P, and we develop it to a result that contradicts it. So we can deduce that it is false, which means that our initial proposition, which is P, is true. And we have its logical syntax according to which not P implies a contradiction, implies the proposition P. And a well-known example of this kind of proof is when it comes to prove the statement P such that the square root of the number 2 is irrational. So for this, we assume the statement not P according to which the square of the number 2 would be a rational number, and we develop it to a contradiction. And we have seen how to develop this statement to an absurd result in one of the videos that we have previously published on this channel. So we would have proved that not P is false, which implies that our statement P is true. We will now move on to the fourth kind of demonstration. So this kind of proof is known as the proof by contraposition, and the principle on which it relies states that in order to prove that a proposition P implies the proposition Q, we prove its contrapositive statement, which is not Q implies not P. And we have its logical syntax, which is P implies Q, if then only if not Q implies not P. Now, as an example of application of this kind of proof, if you want to prove that if the square of a number n is even, then the number n is even, we would have the statement P, which says that the square of n is an even number, and the statement Q, which says that the number n is an even number. So the proposition not Q states that the number n is not even, and the proposition not P states that the square of n is not even. Now, starting from the proposition not Q, which states that the number n is not even, we can deduce that the number n is equal to 2k plus 1, such that k is a natural number, and this means that n squared would be equal to 2k plus 1 all to the power of 2, which means that n squared is equal to 4k squared plus 4k plus 1. Therefore, n squared can be written as equal to 2 times 2k squared plus 2k plus 1. So n squared equals 2 times k prime plus 1, assuming that k prime is a natural number, which equals 2 times k squared plus 2 times k. And this means that n squared is not an even number. So we can deduce that the initial implication, which says that if the square of n is even, then the number n is even, is true. Now we will move on to the fifth kind of demonstration. So this kind of proof, which is known as the proof by cases, relies on the principle of cases separation or disjunction, which mean that in order to prove that the conclusion R is true for many statements Pi, we treat each case independently from the others. So we prove that the statement R is true for each one of the statements Pi individually. And we have its logical syntax according to which the conjunction between the implications Pi implies R implies that R is true for all Pi. And as an example for the application of this kind of proof, if we want to prove the proposition R, which says that the square of the number n plus n is an even number, we consider the two cases in which we would have the proposition P1, which says that the number n is even, and the proposition P2, according to which the number n would be an odd number. And starting from the first statement, which says that n is an even number, we demonstrate that the square of n plus n is even. Then we consider the second case according to which the number n would be odd, and we demonstrate that in this case too, the square of n plus n is an even number. So we would have demonstrated that P1 implies R and P2 implies R, which implies that our statements R is true whatever the value of the natural number n is. We will now move on to the sixth kind of demonstration. So this kind of demonstration, which is known as the proof by induction, concerns arithmetical propositions, and it is used to prove that a property that contains an index n is true for all the integers n that are greater than an initial value that we note as n0, consists of two steps. The first one is to verify that the statement is true for the value n0. And the second one is to prove that the statements P is true for n plus 1, assuming that it is true for a random value of n. And as an example of application of this kind of proof, we have the property Pn, which states that the arithmetical sum of all the natural numbers that are lesser than a natural number n equals n times n plus 1 all over 2. So to prove it, we have for n equals 0, our sum, which equals 0, would be equal to 0 times 0 plus 1 all over 2, and this is true. Now if we assume that the sum of the first n natural numbers is equal to n times n plus 1 all over 2, we can find that the sum of the first n plus 1 natural numbers is equal to n plus 1 all times n plus 2 all over 2 by adding n plus 1 to the ratio n times n plus 1 all over 2, which would represent the sum of the first n natural numbers by assumption. So we can finally deduce that our property Pn, which states that the sum of the first n natural numbers is equal to n times n plus 1 all over 2, is true, whatever the value of the natural number n is. So this was a summary that can serve as an overview about the different types of mathematical demonstrations. We hope that it was useful for you and that you learned from it. And as always, thank you for watching. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell for more of this content. And until the next one, have a great time.